Hello chess friends and welcome to Jozarov's chess channel and welcome to my basics in chess. Today I'll do the middle game and with the theme of targeting your opponent's weaknesses. So basically I know you probably all have problems to find a good continuation in the middle game, so what to do, where to attack your opponent, and I don't know on which side should I play, where should I push, and stuff like that. But a strategical idea can play on your opponent. You can play on your opponent weaknesses. So here we ask ourselves, what can be a weakness in opponent's position. So here I sorted a couple of positions that can happen, and they can be the weaknesses of your opponent, and you can play simply on these weaknesses. So we have this lack of development by your opponent, and I'm pointing out here that it can be even the lack of development of a single piece. So I'll show you in this video an example how a single piece by Anand wasn't developed, and the opponent punished him very well because he didn't play and couldn't get out with his bishop. So the other thing is that of course we all know you don't want to stay with your king in the center, so of course that can be a weakness in your opponent's position, and of course you can attack it on by simply go forward and somehow open the position and attack the king. So we have of course this endangered king after castling. Of course you have probably played yourselves some attacking chess and playing on this attacking of his castle here after castling, maybe some creating some mating threats, of course, but you have it has to be prepared. This is sort of always complex, and you should know when your opponent is endangered after castling, because it's not so simple to simply attack him, because you of course leave space behind while doing that, and it can be a problem. So there are common attacks which attack the king after casting, and I'll show you in the continuation of the series Basics in Chess. So we have here now the lack of space, and this is well, if you saw my King's Indian videos, you see from black's perspective you have this kingside assault, but white has a space advantage after playing d5, and it's perfectly fine. But of course white has this advantage of space, but you don't want to leave him too much space, because if you get too blocked out, you will be probably crushed, and your pieces won't play in that game. So the lack of space by your opponent can be a strategical idea to simply go and sort of choke him. Let me express it that way. So, and the most common weaknesses in your opponent's position are the weak squares and the weak pawns, and they are always present in a chess game, and that I will do. I will try to do as much as possible these videos of a weak square and a weak pawn, because they are simple targets, but no one simply realized that in a game a few players can target in this weak squares, and how to gain advantage by occupying this maybe weak squares of your opponent, and maybe targeting his weak pawns. So today I would like to go with this lack of development. And the first game that I wanted to show you, it was played between Fred Atos and Alexander Arulade, and I've already did this video in my avoiding systems with this berry attack, and this was a good game played by Fred Atos. And we'll see now here Arulade played this move, knight from f to d7. Okay, he has his idea, playing f6 and then e5, but you see with this move from knight from f to d7, he blocked out this other knight to go out into the game. He blocked out his bishop just simply to go for the central attack, and of course even he blocked out maybe this knight on this knight on a6 to go out, because it will be then taken by the bishop, and then we can here occupy the c5 square and block out the position and make it sort of a blocking position, which will be of course favoring the knights. And after that we have knight on d3, so we don't want to have here double pawns, but I'm not gonna explain all the moves here. You can watch the video and see all the tactical ideas here in this game. And we have now f6, h4. You see now, while well, white felt here that the black, with this lack of development, you see all of these pieces now have played by white, and black hasn't played with these pieces, and of course white goes for the simple attack on the king. So again, you see here we have even this endangered king position, because with f6 he has already weakened his king side. So now we have e5, as said, this was the main idea, but we have bishop to g3, and of course we have also here this king in the center, what black is playing for, because we stayed a little bit too long in the center, and now we took d4. Now after queen to b6, you see this is sort of a target, and it's a weak pawn, but you see multiple strategical ideas are shared here in this video, but I'll do them especially in my future videos. And now white didn't even react for this pawn, because he has a nice development here by the pieces, and he doesn't care for a single pawn. Now we have rook to e8, and we Fred Atos simply took. And after king to f1, he was sort of securing his king. Now it's now perfectly fine, because you see again this lack of development by black. I'm pointing you again out because I want to simply to memorize it. He is not endangered here, because he doesn't have any problems, and black will hardly attack him here. So we have then now queen takes on d4, but you see now the rook comes to h4, and I hope you see the attack now for white. It's a perfect one, because the coordination of the pieces is very well. Now queen to b6, we have knight to f4, we have knight from d to f8, and now black wants to somehow develop his pieces, but the activity of white's pieces is too strong. You see again these three pieces haven't played, and that's our strategic idea, to play simply on this undevelopment. We have here now a tactical shot, takes on d5, and knight takes on d5, queen to b2. But you see again a queen move, and it's a problem. Again, these three pieces haven't played. You see white is in this game simply keeping occupied this black, because he has always to do something. He makes simply these forced moves, and these forced moves are very fine with this undevelopment of black, because you don't want him to get out. If he gets out with his pieces, well, with his pawn down, you probably lose the game. So don't allow him to go out. You have to be sharp here. You have to attack. So this is something you must do. So now we have queen to a6, and we now go knight on c7, attacking both of the rooks, but that was not the idea. After g5, again bishop to d3, again an attacking move. You see again he's keeping black busy. Just keep him busy, and force him to do something, because you don't want him get out with his pieces. Now we have queen to a5, rook to b5, again the same idea. Keeping him busy, attacking, play forward, very fine. Now we have queen takes on c7, bishop takes on c7, g takes h4, bishop h5, now knight on a6. Now finally comes the development, but it's already a losing game now. Now we have bishop to f4, rook to e7, bishop to d6, rook on e6, queen to d5, f5, bishop takes f8, bishop takes f8, rook to b7, and queen to c5, knight on c5, bishop to f7 with a check, king to h8, king to d4, king to h7, queen takes on h4 with check, rook to h6, and we have now queen to g5 in this position. In this position, black resigned. So I hope you understand the principle here. You see the lack of development. It's basically here, as black has invited to play white and said to him, I'm not gonna play with my bishop and with my rook, and let's play this game. So this undevelopment of pieces, it can be your strategical idea to play against your opponent in the middle game, but if you're trying to do that, don't get him out, don't let him get out, don't invite him to get out with his pieces. Simply go forward, forward, forward if you feel the position is in this type. So now we have a game that I also explained. It was in my David versus Goliath plus 400 series, and here after you will see white has developed all of his pieces. He has played with his rook, and black has this undeveloped bishop, which is a problem. And here's this single piece is undeveloped because he can play bishop to b7 and maybe with the rook, but it's not a good development. I hope you see that. And that's what our white here played by Gunnar Sekaran against Viswanathan Anand, and here is the former world champion with the black pieces. And in this game, well, a FIDE master crushed a former world champion, and with this sort of positional play and not letting the bishop get out and develop. So you see here we have only one piece that's undeveloped, and white punished that very effectively. So now we have knight bishop to b7, and now we have knight on c5. You see, after taking on c5, we have d takes c5, and now it's sort of undevelopment here. The bishop is blocked out by its own pawns, and it's a problem. And we have now rook to e8. Now we have queen to c2, and you see now this e5 move. This e5 move is probably idea to play again bishop to c8 and maybe go bishop to g4. But now Gunnar Sekaran doesn't allow that. You see that he doesn't allow him to go and develop his pieces on a good diagonal. So he played bishop to e4, and we have queen to c7. Now we have knight on d2, and after taking and a couple of moves here, white occupies this very nice square of d6. So it's now a problem again for the bishop to go somehow out. Now rook to e6 was played, rook from f to d1, bishop to c8, queen to c3, queen to e7, queen to f5, queen to d7, rook on d3, simply doubling up, rook to f8, rook from c to d1. I'm not going to explain it, all of these moves. I've explained it as said in this video. But you see again this undevelopment of the bishop, which is what black basically playing on, and it's a problem. It's a problem for Anand to get out with his bishop. Now we have queen to a7 and b4, even more closing the position on dark squares, leaving here again these pawns on light squares, which is also where the bishop is going. Of course, it goes on the light squares, and it's basically blocked out by its own pawns and pieces. Now we have rook to g6, and now knight takes on c8, because now the rook can come into the game. We have rook to d7, queen to a8, queen to b6, rook to e6, rook to a7, queen to b8, rook to b7, queen to a8, rook from d to d7, rook from e to e8, rook takes on f7. You see, basically it's now losing game for black. g5, rook g7, king h8, h4, rook to b8, rook to h7 with check, rook to king to g8. Now rook from b to g7, rook king to f8, queen to c7, and it's forced mate, rook to b7, and rook to an h8 checkmate. So you see, again, we have this position here. After knight on c5, we have blocked out the bishop and simply play on the sort of undeveloped bishop by black. So you see, this was Anand playing as black, and he got simply positionally blocked out by his opponent, now a strong FIDE master. So again, until our next video, I just want you to memorize this. This can be all the weaknesses in your opponent's camp. So simply go, and if you feel the position is in these 6 ways that I've here explained, play on it, but play it active and accurate, of course. So I hope you enjoyed it and understand what I'm trying to say to you. Thanks for watching, guys, and of course, chess is the best.